live. Yeah, the weather was spectacular this weekend. I was so happy both Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday we had that competition academy, which would have been perfect for Sophie, by the way, Tony.
Yeah, but she'll spank quite a few people without the.
Oh, there.
I'm
So
sorry.
she's had some tutelage, I guess.
She's gonna be a little dark horse, man. Yeah, she'll surprise some
Yeah.
people.
Has
Well,
she?
at the last match we shot, she was shooting the 1022, so it was an
Yeah.
open gun. But I think if she would have been in production, she would have been 20 points clear of the next production person.
Okay.
So
Nice. So she's got some skills.
she's a really
She,
good shooter, man. She's surprising, yeah.
she started last year
Um,
or 2 years ago.
no, last year, yeah, last year she shot. When did she shoot last year? She shot just the one match, eh?
Even more.
Yeah,
The hot one.
yeah, exactly.
Hashim, were you there for that one?
No, my first CRPS event was the finale last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good way to jump into it.
Yeah.
That was a fun event.
Did you shoot, Rick?
I did not shoot the X-22. I shot Avonmore. I needed to be 100% focused on all new events. It takes me a couple of events before I'm relaxed enough that I can
juggle,
take the time off, because you never shoot well anyway when you're match directing, and given how new everything was, I needed to be available to stomp on any smoking embers. But it was good. What's that?
It went smooth.
It was surprisingly smooth. I mean, that's all because of the volunteers we had.
Yeah.
Steve Barks, and there's a whole bunch. Colin Gilmore. Who else was there?
Rob Gordon.
Rob Gordon for sure. James
Yeah.
Ruddock. Yeah. There's 5. I'm missing one, but it was pretty good. I mean, we broke it up over a couple of different bays, which helped a lot, and things just rolled well. So it was good.
It'd be interesting to see how it would run if we had like 40 shooters plus.
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely back up on some, but we'll have to see. Well, we're going to find out, because at Aylmore we're going to have probably 50 shooters, so we're going to have 5 or 6 squads rolling through. So it'll be a full day. That'll be the real test. So it's going to be fun.
What probably makes, I mean, I'm sure you thought this through already, but what you'll probably have to do is you'll just have to have people shooting like the steel section while people are shooting, and then just
correct
move people in like groups of squads.
Yep. And then we'll combine the paper and the steel at the same time. But all right, it's 9:00. Let's go live. Stand by for the intro, and then we'll kick it right off. Stay tuned, guys. Hey, shooters. Welcome to episode 43 of the Rimfire Nation podcast. Episode 43, where we chat all things X-22. Tonight, joining us is Graham from Canada's Gun Store. Hey, Graham.
How are you?
Hashim and Tony, who are inaugural X-22 competitors and lifelong addicts to the Rimfire Precision game. Can I say that, guys?
I'm pretty new to this still.
How many 22 rifles do you have, Hashim?
I have 2 now.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Tony?
Yeah. 3.
3? In total, how many have you had, though?
4.
4. So that,
I suppose I got 4. The Savage is dead, though, so.
Okay, it's not going to be resurrected. That's good.
No, the idea was I get the Anschutz, and that was going to be me stopping, but
okay.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, we'll come back to that one toward the end. So thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time. Graham, welcome. First off, thank you very much for Canada Gun Store's support of the X-22 Challenge Series. It's I mean, I'll let the guys talk about it, but I think when we started this way back when, we had no idea. I mean, you kind of rolled the dice with us and said, let's do something and kind of work together. I think I met you at the Battle Hill property, the Sharps property,
Yes.
when you came out to visit, and I kind of heard about Canada's Gun Store through your sponsorship of them as shooters, which you couldn't find a better family to support. So thank you for supporting them, and thank you for supporting the X22 Challenge Series. Can you tell us a little bit about Canada's Gun Store, and kind of how it got about, and why on earth you'd get into the firearms retail business?
Yeah, you know what? Timing wise, probably isn't necessarily the best with everything going on, but it's been a dream of mine for eons. I've been selling guns probably for 12, 13 years now, Rick, and generally in retail, brick and mortar. And eventually I reached a point. I said, you know what? We've got something good. We've got a great team, and I think we should go online. That's where everything was headed. So, did a bit of brand research and said Canada's Gun Stores is who we are. We believed in that right from the get-go, and the marketing team was fully on board. So no regrets, and we're plowing forward. So
Great.
Thanks for the opportunity to sponsor you guys. I mean, it was what you're putting on is unlike, I think, any other grassroots shooting sports that kind of cover all the different, elements of shooting. And
right.
So we're pumped. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you came out to the Eastern Championships a couple of years ago at the Sharps property.
That's right.
And was that your first time seeing that type of match format?
I think so. Ron was showing me videos prior to that. So him, Brett, and Sammy have been in this with you guys probably since inception, or pretty close to it. Yeah.
I
would think so, right? And then he kept talking about you guys and what we should do, because he knew what we were doing with Canada's Gun Store. So yeah, I'd seen videos and gone on the website, and then I think we had a couple phone calls before that as well to get the ball rolling. But then we met on site there.
Yeah, just to make sure we were aligned, and from the get-go, it sounded like we were both after the same thing, which is to help promote the shooting sports, and not only from a business perspective, but from a cultural perspective. And you're also a sponsor of Project Maple Seed as well, so thank you for that. I think again that's the other half of it, and Maple Seed kind of preceded CRPS, but it's all really part of the whole goal of bringing more shooters into the mix. I think as you know, it's tough being a shooter. So anything we can do to help them find something that resonates with them and open their eyes a little bit, which is great. And I think we've been fairly successful at that. So thank you for helping. And then, so what are some of the brands that you guys carry, the major brands from a firearms perspective?
Well, it's been pretty much everything up until just recently, and I can almost say now it is everything. So just today we got our first shipment from the Benelli Beretta Stoeger Tikka group. So now we're
nice.
on board with them as well. So you'll start to see a lot of those rifles and shotguns show up. So, but yeah, when I say everything, it's pretty much everything anybody shoots, from your Savages and Mossbergs and, and shoots, as you mentioned earlier, anything pistols,
optics and ammo as well. It's a full line.
Vortex, right? Full line. So accessories, so and special orders too, right? So if we don't have it, our guys are top notch at the desk. They answer every phone call, every email, so we can get everything. Yeah,
right. And I think the business is good. It's rolling.
Better than expected, to be honest. Good. The community's been good. So yeah, we've got a lot of positive feedback, I think too, and I think we're earning it. We're not just getting handed it. So yeah,
good. So now's the time to pillage your ammo inventories.
Oh, geez. You're going to anger my local customers, Rick, if you say that.
I started looking, so I'm gonna after this tomorrow morning, I'll send you an email. I've got a bulk order to place with you, so we'll see. There's some, there's hidden gems with new businesses. Not everyone knows about it across Canada, so you're not getting inundated by everyone. But as word spreads, I'm sure you'll run into the shortages that are inevitable. So you heard it here, folks. First, if you're interested in getting those hard-to-find products, Canada's Gun Store could be the place you can find it while supplies last. So I saw a couple of things in the sale page that that I just might jump
Do
on.
you want to share live online which items you were going to put in your cart, Rick?
Yeah, let me do that.
Before
Actually,
they
you know what?
sell out.
I actually can't share right now because I have a Google setting. I just reinstalled it.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the Ruger PCC pistol caliber carbine at a really good price, and you had CCI standard velocity at a really good price. Yeah.
Cool.
And I was looking at you had CZ shotguns also in stock.
Yeah,
which I'm planning to get into skeet shooting this summer on my trip out west. So I need to outfit myself. So
Good.
I'll
We'll
be
take care of you.
yeah, I'll send my order through. That's awesome.
Good.
So anything else you want to share with us, Graham? Perfect platform. You've got at least a dozen people out there.
Well, to all 12 of you, no, not really. It's just been fun, and I just want to thank the community. I know when we were new, and I think with any new shop, particularly in the gun industry, there can always be skepticism, especially when the government's doing things they shouldn't be to us law-abiding citizens. But that all being said, we're going to keep growing. Our inventory levels are strong. We're going to keep supporting the shooting industry, not just from a marketing perspective, but really we're here for the long game to see the sport grow and let all Canadians know that shooting is the funnest sport you can have in the country, and try to keep adding to our numbers. So
perfect.
And if there's anything we can do to help you guys along the way, we're here. So we're just a phone call or email away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hashem or Tony, any questions or comments for Graham while we've got him on the line?
We appreciate you, Graham. Anytime there's somewhere else that we can look to try and find some ammunition is always a good opportunity. I just had a quick look there and noticed you're out of stock for FK long range, but I'll keep looking.
Keep looking. Yeah. Send me an email, Tony. We might have something special on the way in as well.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So I'll make sure we don't put this out to the podcast aggregators till 24 hours from now, Tony. So you got 24-hour head start.
I don't want to make promises that I can't keep, but if you guys get Varget in, I will give you my firstborn child.
Well, if they shoot like you, they'll wear the Canada's Gun Store jersey. Well, then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I honestly, 8 pounds of Varget, a child, equal value to me right now.
Yeah. 8 pounds for 8 pounds.
That's right. Pound for pound.
There you go. Awesome. Good. Perfect. Thanks, Graham.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Yeah. So I'm going to run off, guys. Thanks for having me on, Rick. And take care.
You're welcome. Yeah. We'll talk soon.
You too.
Take it easy.
I got to find out how to leave here now.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. All right. Cheers, Graham.
Cheers.
So that was Graham Young from Canada's Gun Store. Super nice guy. Great store, great service. Always happy to help the shooters. They reached out to us, I guess, a year or so ago, wanting to partner up, and the X22 was a perfect something new for somebody new, and hopefully you guys are seeing the potential of the X22 Challenge series. It was fun. So for those that don't know, I mean, Hashem, do you want to walk them through kind of what the X22 Challenge entails? Is that something you're comfortable with?
Sure. As best as I can remember, because it's all a blur.
No problem.
It has like an ORPS component to it, which is going to be familiar to anyone there. And if you know it, you know it. There is the silhouette shooting component as well, where you're shooting very tiny things that are far away while you are standing. And that's an event that separates the men from the boys, or at least it separates with who has good standing shooting position. And that was an event where taking your standing shooting seriously makes made a really big difference. So then we trudged across the range to the Speed Steel, which I think was pretty much everybody's favorite. It was so much fun. It's probably some of the most fun I've ever had at a competition, to be honest. And that's you are on a timed with a shot timer, you try to make 5 hits on steel with your rifle, and there's 2 when it's just left to right, and then there was one where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So guys that had the 45-degree like the red dots, or guys that swapped out their optics, did very well. Especially when you had to go back and forth, and the guys who just kept their optics on, even if it was like even in 5 power, like it was tough. I was in that boat. I think Tony has a 2.5 as his minimum magnification, and he was okay. So after that, we can get back and talk about that later, because I made some equipment choices recently after that match. But anyways,
The planning already started. Did you sign up for Aylmer? For
yeah. I'm
Okay.
signed up. Yeah.
redemption round.
Yeah. We can talk about it more, but
Okay.
I'm going to try a LPVO. So, and then the last part is paper shooting, and you have to at this is a section at 50 and this section at 100, and the section at 100 it's 2 shots on, what were they, 3-inch bullseyes, 4-inch?
No, they're bigger than that. They're probably maybe 4 or 5 inch.
4-inch, yeah.
Because you had 2 targets and 8.5 left, so they're probably 5-inch bullseyes. But the bullseye was, basically a third of an inch wide, or maybe even a quarter of an inch. It was a bullet hole.
Right.
That X-ring was a bullet hole width. So,
yeah.
But you got sighters. I mean, you weren't shooting it cold.
No. Yeah, you had the chance to sight, and that was almost easier than the 50. Just because the thing with the 50 is, because like the target is tiny. It's like it was like an inch, I think, right?
It's the size of a toonie.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's so big though.
But the thing
at
is,
50, because you think about the KYL rack, right? You're shooting 1/2 inch, maybe.
Yeah, but like if you graze the KYL, that's a hit. Whereas it's like where you hit it matters.
Yeah.
And
for those that don't know, the way we're scoring it on the, you've got to clear it to get the higher point. If you nick the ring, you get the lower point. So it's probably the worst possible scenario for target shooting.
Something else that people don't think about on that is it's prone.
Yeah,
and you think the prone is going to be like shooting from a bench, but it's just not. There's more movement there, a little bit.
Unless you do it right. And then, we'll also put it on the bench if we have locations that have enough benches, then we'd shoot off a bench just to change things up, just so no one kind of stagnates. So you have to be a good bench and a good prone shooter. I don't think we'd ever do it on a barricade, but I'm not going to say no. But we'd have to have like 10 barricades per shooter, so that's not going to work. So maybe bench or prone. Prone for sure. That's going to be the default. So so ORPS and so we had 2 ORPS, we had 2 CRPS, we had 2 silhouette stages, so that's 6, 2 steel, and then 2 paper. So roughly it's if you think about it, we do like the combination of 4 disciplines, ORPS and CRPS as one discipline, then the standing silhouette is another, then speed steel, and then eventually paper. And I think we kind of collapse silhouette into the PRS style, but we're going to break that out for the future, so it'll be a 25% contribution across the board. Yeah. So Hashem, did any of your gear? How much studying did you guys do? I mean, Tony and Hashem on the event and preparing your gear or your practice to it?
For me, I shoot my 1022 a lot in CRPS, right? And it's my ORPS rig recently. Like it's really accurate, especially out to that kind of 100, 200 yard distance. But as in preparation for this, I didn't even know the course of fire until in the morning. And guys were like, "Oh, the course of fire has been released." I'm like, "Oh, great." I don't know. I didn't do anything.
So I do a lot of standing shooting
Okay.
It's just something I enjoy. I'm a masochist, I guess. And it's one of those things in ORPS and CRPS that people kind of treat as like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to pick up points where a lot of people drop a lot.
Right.
So the day before, like the Friday before the match, I just got my cheap Caldwell spinner, the one with the 4 on the bottom and the 1 on top. And
Yep.
I put it at the 25 at Stittsville, and I just stood there with practice ammo, and then was just practicing going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's boring as hell, but you don't just go, okay, yeah, I'm done, whatever. Like you really just you go slow until you're consistently hitting every single one. And I think that helped on the silhouettes, and that definitely helped on the speed steel.
Nice. That's good. And then so everything else really, so the only real wild card was the speed steel one, right? That's what threw a lot of people for a loop. And then Tony, your magnification was 2.5. You thought that was enough?
A red dot would have definitely still been a better option, I think. But yeah, 2.5 was fine. I tried to shoot. My throw lever has circles in it, so I tried to.
I saw that.
My first one, I was like looking over the top. I was like, okay, if I use that, and then I kind of up to the top of my sight. I missed my first 2 shots, and then I went into my sight, and I'm on 16 power now because that's where the top was or whatever it was, and I was like, first one was a disaster, and then from there I just turned it down to 2.5, and it's low enough that you can do it just good. I think I came first or second on the speed steel without a red dot, so you don't need a red dot, but you do need a low power scope.
Right. Let me just answer some questions. Hey, Bruno, so for beginners, ORPS is the Outlaw Precision Rimfire series, which is the short range version of Rimfire PRS. So that one typically goes from 25 yards to 100 yards. And it's an event that runs monthly across Canada, various host ranges. Subscribe to it, and they'll run local matches, and all of the scores are aggregated into a national, which is going to get released next week, by the way. And then what we'll do also if you're on Facebook, Bruno, in the X22 file section, I believe we've got the targets that we use for paper at 50 and 100 meters there. So you can download it there, and I'll try and get the link and post it here in the comments for folks to download as well. And there's a Facebook user looking at Ely or SK out west. I know that Ely is being delivered sometime in May, I believe, because I've got to go and stop by Korth Group to grab my Ely allotment for this year, which we haven't announced yet. And I know SK is going to be June. I know that they're inbound or getting set up. And Bryson Dodwell, yes, let's set up a side event. I have a week in the Kamloops area before that June timeline, and again, I think I'm back in July, so definitely we could set something up. I've got the target, so let's do that. I think that'll be fun. Then we can see if a cheap rifle will beat a expensive gamer rifle. That's what I'm curious about, and ultimately and we'll shoot for groups, because the thing about the cheating thing about the 50 meter X22, not a lot of people see this, is we're not just testing accuracy, but we're testing the shooter's ability to get natural point of aim, because the target shifts after every single shot. If you look at your sighter probably had a smaller group than the aggregates of all your 10 shots on the 50, because of that you're supposed to be breaking your position for every shot. Otherwise, you're introducing some tension in your shooting position, which is no bueno. So that's a Maple Seed thing that you guys. So basically, it's just one big promo for Project Maple Seed. But I thought the Outlaw stages we took were actually from the April course of fire. So folks shooting April, and that's what we'll do every month, is anytime we're having an X22 match, we'll take it from the current course of fire. So folks will have seen it before, and again, it's just something fun, and get folks into the rhythm of things. So, and any comments on kind of the day, what you thought went well and what you thought didn't work well from a shooter's perspective?
Yeah, So this has been driving me absolutely bonkers, and I don't know why people were doing it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So the round count was for the day was roughly 250,
Yeah.
and people were like re-zeroing or like zeroing the red dots with cheaper ammunition for the speed steel.
Oh,
And the logic being that like you don't need a long range match or Lapua
Yeah.
or whatever, which is true. You don't need that, but the thing is, it's like I don't understand what like you're saving maybe $20, and it's a whole other factor for you to have to worry about, and not to mention that like that like if you're fouling your barrel with one round, it then changes the barrel fouling, and then you have to refoul it. So
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah.
It was fine. Like I did test it before. I probably lied a little bit when I said that I didn't do any testing. I tested dope before I came and shot the match. And I did test some cheap ammunition to see, hey, how does this thing shoot at 25 yards and does it cycle well? And I figured, well, we've got 10 rounds to season in our barrel ciders.
Okay.
Next one anyway. So yeah, I did that. I didn't think
so run us through your both of you just run us through your gear setup there. What were you running? And just tell us what you were running from a platform. Go ahead, Tony. Why'd you start?
I got a Lask 1022 that I bought from Chris Lockstrip.
Okay.
It's in a Magpul Hunter
X20.
Yes. Okay. With the high cheek riser.
Yep.
The barrel on it is an absolute tack driver, and I did some research on it. It's called Adams and Bennett. They don't make it anymore. Apparently, it was $130 barrel that used to be able to buy in Walmart in the States.
Okay. Interesting.
I've got a USO TS20 on the top of it.
Okay.
And that's about it. Yeah.
Nice.
I actually have mine with me because I thought this might come up. I'm not going to be able to get the whole thing in frame, but I have. Sexy. Yeah. I love painting my guns. Like, people get so angry with some of my paint jobs. I don't care. I paint it because I like it. This is what I call a lichen flag, which I found when hiking. But anyways, so I am running a factory 1022 receiver.
Yeah.
I have a like Tony the Magpul Hunter stock with the high riser on it. I have the MDT 20 MOA rail. I have a IPI 116 16-inch barrel. And it came threaded and has a 5/8 thread. I'm not sure if that's standard, but that's what they had at the time. Yep. So I have the S&J Hardware Nano Linear Comp at the end more than anything because I like it better than a thread protector. Okay. I drilled out the stock to put an MDT Arca rail on it. I bedded my action. I have a spacer in the rear of it to stop slack. And I have the Vortex Strike Eagle 525, the Gen 2.
Nice.
Yeah, in MD2 rings.
Are you running a stock bolt?
Yeah, I'm running a stock bolt. I have the glass charging handle, and I have the factory trigger housing still, but I've put the glass release in, and the big improvement that I did was the Tandem Cross
Ultimate
trigger kit. Yeah,
that is the best. That's the best bang for the buck, literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
My rifle is this is my like second line rifle, and I wasn't going to drop $600 for a kid trigger, and this is pretty damn good.
Remember, April 6th, Hashem said he's not going to buy a kid trigger. We'll check in at the end of the year, Hashem. Yeah, everyone says that.
Now I'm accountable.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, are you running a stock trigger?
Is it?
It's a kid.
It's a kid trigger. It's kid full internals.
Nice. Kid triggers are the best. Absolutely, hands down, the best. Once you shoot one, you'll always know what you're missing when you go back, when you leave the kid. So, but the ultimate is pretty close. It's pretty close. Yeah.
You mentioned would there be anything that I would change on the match?
Yeah.
Rob was asking how far was the farthest target. It was 150 yards, I think. I would push out.
Correct.
We've got access to 218 at that range.
Okay.
I would push out further, and I found the target sizes were a little
Generous.
larger size. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know who was going to sign up for it. We didn't know what gear people were going to bring. We're going to look at the hit rates after and just see where we can tweak. The outlaw we can't do much about because that's the outlaw. But the CRPS for sure. We want to go because we didn't know. We were seeing people coming in with, who was it? Some guys with duplex reticles. I don't know if anyone came in with a duplex reticle. We didn't know, so we decided to err on the side of let's play it safe, see how it goes, and then we'll push it out. For sure, we're going to have one stage that's going to go, reasonably, on the higher end of things, like to the max of the range, up to 300. Nothing, you don't get anything done past 300. It's more of an equipment and windage calls at that point. So definitely 250, definitely 275 if we've got the space, just to keep people, maybe the same stage, just push it out.
It tests
We'll see.
who's got their dope as well, right? Like,
Yeah. So it's the homework, and not a lot of people have that ability, but certainly if we're shooting at that range and people are members of that range, there's no reason why they shouldn't have their dope, right? So certainly if you go to the Rimfire Competition Academy, you'll be taught that you need dope. If you haven't shot it before, then your chance of hitting it are very slim.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust but verify, I guess, is the what we'd say. So yeah. So I enjoyed it from a match director's perspective. Again, the volunteers made the day so much easier. I could help get the stages going while we were doing setup on the other one, and we're going to do the same thing at East Elgin. We've got the multiple bays set up, so we'll be doing the same thing. We'll do the steel side, then we'll get the we'll probably have that simultaneously set up, and then start pulling off the steel when everyone starts heading over to the Rimfire race guns. And it's fun being in a crowd at the race gun stages because the trash talking starts there, and everyone screws up their last run because they get confident and they want to beat their best time, so they always miss the second or third target because they're moving their rifle as they're pulling the trigger because they're already mentally on the next target, which is fun. So
I'd say having a reliable 1022 is the key.
yes,
I saw some guys who could put in, I can't remember which guy it was, but I was like, wow, this guy's going to win this portion of the competition for sure.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to just stop working. I was like, oh, poor guy, And that was it. That's his. Because it's the 5, you did 5 times, the top 4 times count. Yeah. Well, if you have some guy who runs 4 decent times, he's going to beat a guy that runs 3 amazing times and 1 where his gun, or 2 where his gun has failed and he's clearing stoppages and stuff. So yeah, having a reliable rifle is key.
I'm just gonna pop it up and see if I can see what the speed steel stages were.
So one thing I noticed was guys who didn't seem to be having problems with their rifles for most of the match, who were shooting right-handed and had the 45-degree offset. So they're holding the rifle at 45 degrees with the bolt like facing up. Like I kind of wonder if just being at that 45-degree angle, like they started having cycling issues. So I'm wondering if that's just a coincidence or if holding it at that angle, like where it was causing malfunctions.
Possibly. That's a good point. I never thought about that, where just that one change it was just barely ejecting properly before.
Yeah.
Now it's just rebounding off the bottom or the top. Yeah, maybe. And getting stovepipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stovepipes were the only one I'd see, and I didn't catch that many. So who won? So combined speed steel, Dan Lozon, an open shooter, won.
Pretty close though, eh?
Pretty close. It was like his best time was total best was 29.88, and Tony came in at 31.03. So 1 in 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds, and then It's Dan, Tony, and then Matt. Matt was a second, 1.75 seconds behind you, Tony. And then I'm trying to see if I'm trying to look for the outlaw guys.
I'd like to know on that list if you could go down and see what people were using red dot versus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't think we tracked that. I'm going to ask if, because we only have the rifle and optic, we didn't have secondary optics. So maybe folks put that in or not.
Just be interesting to know, like what's the. I'm pretty sure that having a red dot is
What-
the best way.
What was Chris Logstrup running? Do you remember?
He was running.
Did he have a red dot?
No, he had a 3 to 18.
Collis. Yeah, he came in 5th.
Yeah.
He came in 5th behind the red dot guys. So that's pretty good.
Sorry.
Gab Jones, Rob Ross. Rob Ross didn't have a. I don't
No.
think Rob had a. No.
And he had a couple of issues with his rifle too at one point.
Yeah.
I think.
Bill Adams. I'm trying to remember who were the outlaw guys. Paul Chisholm, Stephanie Haynes, and there was one more.
Liam.
Oh yeah. So they're bottom.
TK.
Bottom 4. Yeah, the bottom 4 were the bolt action guys by 20-second difference. So what we're going to do next match is the top 3 guys are going to be using bolt actions. Just to see. So sorry, Tony, you're one of them. Matt and Dan Lowe's aren't going to be shooting bolts. No, that's good. I think that's It was definitely fun to watch. Fun to be part of.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So there's a question. Can we get a vote on being able to switch to a shorter, lighter barrel for speed steel on the 1022 takedown? I don't think honestly it's worth it. It's not the lightness. It's the ability to acquire targets and apply trigger quickly.
I
So
think
it's more optics than weight.
I can't see who it is that's asking this question, but I think you're overcomplicating it. Like,
Yeah.
it won't be the difference between you winning and not winning is if you could put a shorter barrel in or not. It's
Let me just.
how much practice have you done, and just how
It's
you.
Doug Rodenbush. Yeah, don't worry about it, Doug. You'll be fine. It won't affect you. Having a red dot or a 1 power optic is going to be the bigger advantage, I think.
But I would say go for it, Doug. Like, I don't
Swap
know.
it out.
I don't know why it would be against the rules. Guys were taking their optic off. Like, you're using the same rifle. The only part of the rifle that's the rifle is the serialized part, right?
Yeah, well, I think swapping out your barrel is against the rules because technically it's a different rifle because the bullet the chamber is being removed, right? If you had a screw-on attachment, I think that'd be okay. But again, the spirit of the game is that we're not running super light guns and heavy, long, accurate barreled rifles for target stages. So it becomes an unfair advantage situation. The optic side, I'm less worried about because if you want to risk losing your zero and not knowing if you're going to have a sighter stage after you remove it, because when you have 10 squads or 4 squads, likely you starting after, you might get the paper stage last, right? You may go from speed steel onto ORPS and not get a paper stage. So it's risky. And, I did an informal poll for the guys that swapped optics that there's zero shift, and some of them, it's an inch and a half sometimes. So it's going to be an issue. So.
Yeah. I didn't think of that because it's just because like today, when Vortex announced the new first focal plane Strike Eagle, I was very interested, and I saw them they went up for sale today, and I got one, and I kind of had it in my head that I would between the ORPS and CRPS and like Silhouette, like heading to the speed steel, I would just swap them out, and I would just use the LPVO for the rest of the match because it has an 8 power, and I figured that would be enough for the paper stages after.
1 to 8.
Sorry,
it's 1 to 8 power.
Yeah, 1 to 8.
It's more than that. Oh, yeah, it's a 1
the
to
new
8.
one, yeah, 1 to 8.
Yeah, 1 to 8.
Yeah, I think the only one that the only someone does a 1 to 10. I'm not sure who, but
Walton.
I thought of switching, just swapping the optics over, because obviously like a 1 power on the speed steel. And I think that would be like the only gear change I would do for it. But yeah, if I don't know the order,
Ah,
yeah.
you know who's got a 1 to 10? Athlon Aries 1 to 10,
Yeah,
and
That'd be
it's
fun.
got
That
it's
would
got a
be-
Christmas tree reticle too.
Do you know that? Do you know why you would be screwed on that? On the paper stage, you probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to see where your shots are hitting at 100.
Maybe.
Your 10 siders, you'd be like, well, they're in there somewhere. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
I suppose
Well,
could
you could bring a spotting scope.
Yeah.
Nothing prevents you from dragging you got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So for those that don't know, so the paper stages, the way it works is you've got a minute to prep, 2 minutes to shoot 10 sighters, up to 10 sighters. Then you've got a minute to reload, and then we do 2 minutes to shoot the scoring targets. So that's more than enough time if you want to drag your spotting scope to the line with you.
Yeah, because like the thing is getting a vortex venom or something, and then getting the mount, or swapping out the rings to get one that has a mounting plate. Like there's no way you're doing that for less than $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's the question for me is like, do I want to spend that money on something that I'll be using on 2 stages in one type of match? But like it's really hard for me to justify spending that much on it. And like as a thought exercise, I was thinking like, what's like the cheapest way you could do that?
Yeah.
And
Tony has an idea. Why don't you just JB Weld red dot to
obviously it'll
to
fall
your,
off. on
to your
somebody.
objective?
and you'll never see it again.
Well, that's why you got to put one of those gear clamps on, those worm drive hose clamps, right?
Or
That'll keep it on there.
yeah,
Or tap it for Picatinny rail.
tap the scope,
Tap the scope, the shade.
shade. Oh yeah, okay.
Tap the shade. Like once it's indexed to top center, it's going to be indexed, right?
Yeah,
Because the threads are fine enough.
you drill that and it's like, oh, why is it hissing?
Yeah.
It just hisses once, Hashem. Just once.
Just once, yeah. And like you send that into Vortex, and they're like, I don't even want to know what you were trying to do, but don't do it again.
It was a snake bite.
Yeah.
Snake bite.
The one thing that I did think of, and it's like the cheapest and maybe kind of a dumb way to do it, but like it would work for our purposes, is like, come on, there we go. Because you have like
Oh yeah.
right, you have this here it's backwards, so yeah. So if you had like a Picatinny rail section there, you had the like one of those cheap Amazon mounts, then you could just stick like a Vortex Crossfire on there. It would do the job.
So we just got the new Savage 64 Precision in. I think that is the ideal platform for the most cost-effective X-22 build. It's also a great ultralight rifle if it shoots. We haven't taken it to the range yet, but I'm curious to see how well it's going to run. So it's got an MDT polymer chassis with the M-LOK slots on the side, and sideways would be perfect. I think you've given me an idea, Hashem.
I'm interested to know how that gun shoots, Rick.
I want one so badly. Like it's just the idea of a rifle that is, for me, like for a lot of people, it's something that they grew up with, right? Like and it's this little classic bit of 22 history.
Yeah.
And then getting the modernization and the whatever precision at work that's going to get into it. And then I think you said it's coming into like $400.
Yep.
So it's like
$400.
For $400, like that's
Really
like why not, right? Like it's filling up a lot of guys' Tacomas like 3 times at this point.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm gonna drop one off at IBI to see what they can do.
Yeah.
$400 all in plus a $600 barrel.
I will talk about that for a bit. So I bought the IBI barrel back
Yeah.
in December, and I kind of did it on a whim, because of Black Friday. I opened my wallet and I bought a lot of silly things. But for me, it was a bit of a stretch because like I have an IBI barrel on my 6 mil, and like I don't know, it's like I think it's like $700.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was like more expensive than a kid, and I was like, all right, I'll buy Canadian. I'll see how it goes. And for like the past couple of months, as I've been playing with it, I've been kind of debating, like, did I overspend on this? And after having shot this match, and running good ammo through it, one of the things that's so important for me is removing doubt. And I have zero doubt about my barrel now. It ran so well. And on the paper stages, running good ammo through it, like I had full confidence that the bullet was going to go exactly where I wanted it to.
Yeah. What ammo were you shooting in that barrel?
I was shooting a Lapua Center X,
Okay.
which is about the same price now as long range match, So it's and it performed very well. Yeah. So I know they're a sponsor, but even without that, like, +1 to the IBI barrel, so happy with it. Really glad I made that choice.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's regretted an IBI barrel. I think people had issues with not being able to eject live rounds, but I think that's just a mismatch between the rounds they're using in the chamber. And I think IBI is willing to fix those for people once they know what ammo they're going to stick with. So actually, I just want to go back to, hey, Doug, the answer is no on swapping out barrels, because technically you're using a different rifle. You're kind of gaming it. So unfortunately, it's going to be a no. Matt says the Savage 64, it would be an outlaw. Correct, since it's non 1022 mag. And he's saying something like an A22 would probably slay the bolt guns because it can do race gun stages much faster. So the A22, funny you should say that, Matt. One of the things we're going to be also profiling is the A22 Precision, which is basically the A22 and the aluminum MDT chassis. So we'll have the 64 Precision, the A22 Precision, which could be the outlaw guns of choice in X22. So stay tuned for that. And then Rob's comment was 8X is more than enough out to 250. I don't know if it's enough for paper though. Like you said, I'd have to look at how
it is. It is.
Yeah. How much zoom did you use on that 100, Tony and Hashem?
Sorry?
How much magnification did you use? All of it?
No. Did I?
Yeah, I used 20. 20 is what I've got. That's what I used. If I had 30, I would use 30.
I think I used 25. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
8's enough. You can group really well with 8, but you would need a spotting scope to see where your shots are.
Oh, did you just see Matt's comment?
So I'm not set up to see it. What do you say?
So also, hate to admit it, but after the X22, I missed my kid trigger so much, he sold it. I bought another.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he's the anti-Hashem.
Well,
but you did so well without it. I don't think you need it, man.
Well, like that's always the gear thing, right? It's like, it's just dropping. Am I going to perform $400 better, $500 better, whatever, if I get the kid?
I'm gonna take a look at the scores to see how close you guys were.
You can share mine, Matt.
Oh, that's true. Tony is running a kid, though. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Let me just take a look. Sorry, I can't share my screens. I gotta reboot Chrome to get this to show up, and unfortunately, it's gonna shut down StreamYard. So let's see. Combined. Sorry, guys. While I look at that, how many points So Matt had, so Tony had 42 and Matt had 35 on the steel stages. So 7. I don't think that's a kid trigger. What do you think? I don't know.
No.
Paper stages was, I think it would have helped on the paper stages, right? That's probably where it'll show up more. What do you think, guys? A better trigger?
I'd be interested to try Matt's gun, like his.
Yeah, maybe that's
You want to see
so.
what I don't know, like if it's like that horrible 10 to like a stock trigger where it's like bang, then
Yeah,
they really suck,
like Tony, you stomped everyone in the paper stages. You had 495 match points, and Hashem second place was 371. I don't know if you looked at the results.
Tell you, my rifle shoots.
Yeah,
I'm blaming it all on the rifle. The rifle is a good rifle.
no, you're okay too. You got some rudimentary fundamentals working for you too. Wait, this is the guy that came in tied for third at the Easterns last year with a T1X stock, right? So yeah, maybe the gun has.
Good guns too, man.
It's a very good gun. Now, if you shot your T1X at 100 meters, what kind of scores do you think would have got, Tony?
I put it this way: I will not shoot that Tika in an ORPS match.
No,
No,
it's definitely a long range performer only for you. That specific example.
my Tika doesn't group. I mean, I actually tested it the other day at the range, and it put in the best groups I've ever seen. But at the finale, it was like 3/4 of an inch to an inch at 50. But it's like a perfect cone. At 50, it's 3/4 of an inch to an inch. At 100, it's like an inch and a half. At 300, it's like a 6-inch.
Okay.
At 300 yards and probably from 250 and out, it's overtaking the semi just because of the velocity spreads are a lot tighter with the ball.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my at the 217, which is like which Stitzel calls the 200, even though it's not, but whatever. I would say my CZ 457 with the match barrel and my 1022 are probably about the same.
Nice.
And it's that longer distances where where semis start to break down.
Right. It's interesting because we've had semis win CRPS matches,
Mm-hmm.
not just once, but a handful of times in the last couple of years, and that's only because not everyone runs it. I think if you had 50% of the people running 1022s, you'd have 50% of the matches won by semi-autos, right?
All I can tell you is that my semi is less accurate than a bolt at the extreme distances.
At distance, okay.
And I've tested it with the same ammo, different ammos. Like I've really gone into it because I love my semi, but no, out at distance, a Tika that groups mediocre at 50 will definitely.
Okay.
Also,
Matt's saying he was running a stock Ruger trigger. I didn't know that. Sorry, Matt. Yeah, a better trigger would help.
That's the next month you can share my rifle if you like.
Yeah. So you went from the best trigger in the business to the most agricultural trigger in the business. Like for competition wise, I mean, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, man. Well, congratulations for placing so well with a stock Ruger trigger.
Yeah.
Hats off, buddy.
That's a testament because that thing is rough.
It's 4.5 to 5 pounds, right?
And the creep on it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Matt's got game, man. Yeah, you're right. So maybe a kid would have put you in a better spot. Like, yeah. Sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to trash talk all over your kid purchase.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But you missed the point where Hashem and I were talking about the ultimate trigger from Tandem Cross, which is almost kid-like for half of the price, maybe even a third of the price.
A third of the price. It was $200.
So, but buy once, cry once. You never regret buying a kid.
How much is a kid trigger nowadays?
600 probably.
Ugh.
I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, it's steep, buddy. Well, do you know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like the SkyPod, where you can live without it. And you can have a Harris on a. I know people are going to be I'm gonna get so much hate mail for saying this, but I have a SkyPod. I can tell you, Tony, I think he runs a Harris with an Arca adapter. And like, let's be honest, like our SkyPods are kickstands like 90% of the match.
Yeah.
And the SkyPod now is going to run you $800 minimum. And it's like, so that's 4 times the price. And it's like, does it provide you with 4 times the performance? I don't know.
How many $20 going to 800?
40 times.
Okay, because mine's not even a Harris.
Yeah, even not. Yeah, that's.
It's a knockoff of a Harris.
I don't know. I bought it when I had literally no money. I was fresh in Canada, and I was like, whatever. I'll buy this bipod until it breaks.
Yeah.
And then I'll fork out and buy a better bipod.
Yeah.
And it's 3 years in.
You know what you should do? You should get some of the Marginet Metalworks upgrade bits and just bling that thing out, man. With the cant and pivot adjustment lever, and then the spiked feed and the plates.
I bought the lever. I paid.
Oh, the lever's huge. If you're
lever
gonna do one thing, yeah, and then the feet also, because depending the feet sometimes are hard rubber and they just slide everywhere. So get the grippy ones. Yeah, you're right, Matt. I just checked the Delask website. It's 450 and 520. Single stage was 450 and 520 for the 2-stage. So it's
all right, so with tax
plus it's close. Yeah, it's over. It's at least double the ultimate from Tandem Cross. So, but buy once, cry once, man. If that's the last trigger, I mean, plus it's portable. Every 1022 you have, we'll just get that trigger pack in there, right?
Well, I mean, like 3 guys can just get like 1 trigger pack and then just share it,
Just share it.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If I had more time, we'd have demo stages set up, because we have the Brigara BXR from Odell. We have the Delask kid build from Delask, which is the full kid in a chassis. And what else we have? We had one more. We had the Grey Birch Fusion, the threaded barrel. That thing's a shooter. I mean, all those are shooters, but from an ultralight rig, I did. Somebody was shooting. Was someone shooting a Grey Birch?
Yeah,
a couple people were.
A couple of people.
Yeah,
I think it was Antoine Doucette had one. I'm trying to remember. I want to look at where they ended up in the day. I'll go through the stats later. Take a look through.
You know what you're missing, Rick?
What's that?
There's so many medals, but you're missing an overall medal to know
who ended up.
Who, but also what? Like, because it's an X22 series.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's 64 is an outlaw gun. It's not a 1022 gun, but it could still win the X22 competition, right? That's a
good point. Those are Let me tweak that. What we'll do? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Perfect. I'm just making a note, guys. Sorry.
The X22 match is a data. If there's ever a match where we collect like every bit of data we can, it's the X22s. Yeah. Because there are so many nifty breakdowns that we could do where it would be like people who were, like you said, like running the red dots on the speed steel, guys that like were running scopes. The other thing was like, to my knowledge, there isn't a way of getting a left-handed 1022 safety. So so the thing is that I've switched to shooting. I'm left-handed. I switched to shooting right-handed because I'm right-eye dominant. But the speed steel I shot left-handed because the muscle memory, like I'm just faster,
Right.
And so I had to start my stages. There we go. With my left hand here.
Yeah.
And then I had it like my right hand here. So I would start kind of like this.
Yeah.
So that I could flick the safety off and then slide and then get into position.
Okay.
And which slows you down. And like you said, on the 5th run, like you're in a rush, and I didn't depress it all the way, and I had to come back up. So another one of those metrics. It'd be interesting to see.
I wonder if somebody makes a A lefty adapter.
Crossbolt safeties are like they're you're usually just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody, I mean, that's just someone with a lathe and a little bit of engineering can solve that problem, right?
That's
I-
Or
nice.
is it?
Killer idea right there, Rick.
Yeah.
They have lefty. There's a lefty 1022,
Mhm.
but the safety is still on the other side, I guess. They
Yeah.
didn't reverse the safety on that, I guess.
Yeah, because why would Ruger make a separate trigger pack, right?
True.
Well, they're making a full separate rifle to make a left-handed one, right?
Yeah.
The amount of machining that goes into making it left-handed, I'm assuming it's not a whole bunch more to make it fully
It's a
left-handed.
different department, Tony.
Oh, sorry.
Do not get into that. That's someone else's domain. You have no idea. Clearly, you have no idea how much time and effort it takes to reverse a safety direction.
Man, it's funny.
Maybe, is there?
I'm left-handed, but
There's no rule that safeties have to go to right to left, right? To take it
Yeah.
off.
It's just because 90% of the population's right-handed. So
Yeah, we'll see. Matt was saying that the statistical sample of one BXR at the X22 was jamming a ton during the match. So that was not a fun day. Yeah, it's that X22 is punishing on feeding issues or extraction issues. Because 2 minutes gets eaten up. Everything is timed. Literally everything is timed.
yeah. I wonder if guys are like being picky, like are consciously swapping out their recoil springs on that, because I'm pretty sure like the default springs are really designed around high velocity ammo. And whereas if you're shooting match ammo, like that stuff's not HV. So like Kid makes the because you said a 3
Yeah.
like sub and I have the Kid like the standard velocity.
Yeah.
And a lot of my feeding issues and like my cycling issues rather went away when I swapped that spring.
Okay, you went for a weaker spring,
Yeah, I went for exactly.
the white one.
just put a couple of coils off it. You'll be good to go.
That makes it stiffer. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah?
Cutting coils gives you a strong, higher spring rate.
Oh, okay. Did not know that.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense, but
I know. It's what happens when you do it on car coil springs. You shorten it, but you make it stronger because yes.
okay.
I'll look it up and confirm, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologize next week.
That's
But that's how we used to run it when we were trying to lower cars. Well, you're making it tougher. So, Kareem was asking about, or just made a comment on the happy medium between rifle optic weight for X22. There's the ultralights like the gray birch, and then there's the heavier set. Like I think the Magpols are fairly heavy. That Hunter stock is on the heavier end.
No, it's not.
I mean,
picked-
not compared to the chassis.
So I
Sorry.
picked the Max rifle, whatever that is. That's in the
Oh, the
orange.
KRG.
Yeah, I think
KRG.
KRG Bravo.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but that thing's heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
No, the
I'm
Max
saying,
rifles are pretty light. Well, it's a Hunter stock, right? So
yeah.
yeah, it's
I always thought it was heavy.
Yeah.
Kareem was saying, yeah, what if you can add subtract weights from stage to stage? To
you can, right?
you can, yeah.
Like
People
have-
take off their bipods for the silhouette stages.
Oh.
I don't have a problem with that.
That's something that I thought, because like when you're, I mean, it's gonna be less of a problem when you have the red dot and it's easy to acquire the target. But when you're having to do that swapping back and forth, like controlling the swing of the rifle, like you have to like we have a lot of weights on the front of our guns. Like you really have to be ready for it.
Yeah. So I think if you like, the race gun scene has been going on in the States for decades. So if you look at what the guys are running, they're all ultralight minimalist. You know, basically it's the barreled action in this aluminum tube with a J hook at the end
Do you know what
and a
makes me-
trigger.
We're talking so much about the race guns. Race guns isn't where you're gonna have the,
I know,
It's-
but that's where the weight. That's
issue.
where the weight. Yeah, but that's where the weight becomes most beneficial. The reduction of weight.
I tell you, silhouette is something that for the guys who haven't shot the silhouette,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a nice surprise when they go and shoot it,
I know.
because the high score was, I had the high score. It was 4 at the 50 and 3 at the 100,
Right.
and those things are cheeky. So
Yeah.
don't invest your time on the speed steel training for the speed steel. Invest your time training for the silhouette, because
4
if you
and 3,
kill
7.
the silhouette, you will
10.
put yourself in a good stead.
Yeah. So you lost out on, what is that?
Well, I shot 20 shots, hit
15 points.
yeah,
So 13 points.
13 points.
Yeah. So 13 points. That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Tony went first, and then I went second on that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of messing with my gear, so I didn't like. I heard Tony ringing it. I'm like, okay, well, Tony did well. Big surprise. So then when I shot it, I got 4 and I got 2. But when I got 4, I was like, I got 4 out of 10. Like, I was kicking myself. And then like I watched everyone else do it, and I'm like, okay, well, 4 is actually not that bad. And it was like people got, it just killed everyone. Like, it was, those things are just so small. And
so it was that those were the high scores, 4 and 3. 4 chickens and 3 rams were the high scores. It's interesting is the guys running Outlaw were scoring high. They were up there. Paul Chisholm, was tied for top scores for both stages. So Tika T1X, man. Paul was running the 457 in a Manners.
Yeah, I think it's Liam with the Tika.
Liam from all the way from Iqaluit. He flew in like that morning. He only had like 3 or 4 hours sleep.
He flew into the match?
No, he was coming back anyway, but he made sure that he was decked out. He had the Kydex T1X magazine holders. He was all set up. I think he's former military. I don't think he's serving anymore, but he was decked out in coyote brown. That's my uniform. Can you cut M-lock slots in a Woodstock? It's going to be the bubbaed on-shoots from Kareem. Kareem's got his X22 bubbaed out on-shoots. Just buy another stock, Kareem. That's all you need. So Kareem's running that Fortner action on-shoots.
Oof.
Which
nice.
Isn't that bad for... That's what we were talking about. I said, I wonder. So Kareem, did you sign up for the Merit X22 yet? Merit BC X22. It's going to be good.
The Fortner action will still get smashed on that speed steel. Like
it's the optic first and then action. I think if you had a big enough red dot, man, just cycle. Just like if you were defending Stalingrad, how fast can you? Perfect. So Kareem's going to be there. So we're going to see how the on-shoots Fortner does at an X22. The world wants to know. We'll have to set some.
Better than mine.
Yeah, and we're going to have the 2 similar stages, because the way the speed still was, again, we're talking a lot about the speed still because everybody knows what the Outlaw and the CRPS stages are. We have one that you've got to pick your way through the targets, left, right, center. And then there's a speed still, which is straight run right across from left to right, 5 targets. And we could have 1 to 7 targets also. So it's not always fixed 5, depending on match director's whim. It's, placement. So next we're going to be varying heights. So it'll be up, down, up, down.
Are you going to keep the same kind of distance?
Yep, pretty much. It'll be that. Maybe a little, like it's a level playing field. I mean, I don't think, people with higher minimum magnification would like it further away, right?
Yeah.
But then because you're further away, you've got to you're going to change your swing timing, right? So I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah, doing the practice at 25 yards with the 5 power was like no problem. Like I could do more magnification. It's just like it's like 15. Once like 15 yards, like it's like anything into that, like you're in trouble.
Yeah, and maybe we'll push it back just to try and get more people within the range of usability.
We
Right.
should mention iPro, because
Yeah.
iPro
Yeah.
was a definite need.
Yeah.
There was little bits coming back.
Yeah. I mentioned that many times.
Yeah.
For
Well, I'm
people
just
again, we just have to. Maybe we have to have signs, iPro mandatory here, and look around, because it's yeah. I mean, if you look at the tables after, you'll see all kinds of lead bits everywhere.
we,
For
we, was
being here.
watching, we was watching the bullets. Like, oh, there you go. The one just came back.
Yeah.
It wasn't often, but it did happen.
Good things no one's using force.
Funny thing about force,
2
I
grains more of higher velocity steel, of high velocity lead.
word to the wise: don't use force in your 1022s, boys and girls.
You've tried it?
Yeah, but it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't go because of the length of the case, and it's a
Yeah.
42 grain bullet. It didn't go in all the way, but it was
Oh, really?
mostly in.
Oh, no.
And when I pulled the trigger, like most of the time it was fine, but one time when I pulled the trigger, the round had like an out of battery detonation and just
Really?
blew the magazine out the bottom.
No way.
Right next to me with bits of metal and powder. Yeah, so
Not
force
good.
22, which I'm sure they say you shouldn't use it anyway, but there's a reason why they say that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, these are all things we've got to note and publish. That was good. I thought it was a good event.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like the paper stage. Like everyone's shooting en masse. I thought that was fun to watch.
I would keep it that way, where
Yeah.
it's a one stage thing for everybody, and
Yeah.
then there's no, oh, well, you shot it in the.
Exactly.
Because like at the start of the day when we shot, it was
Yeah.
dead calm, and then at the end of the day, it was windy, right? So
Yeah. It's always like that at Stittsville.
Yeah.
And that's when we shot the paper, right? Papers were last.
paper in the wind, which
Yeah.
added a nice little element to it as well, right? Like
Yeah. And it was the same for everybody, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're able to pull that off at Aylmer. We'll probably have to have five squads of 10 each. So it'll get long, but hopefully we'll keep it rolling. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. More data. More data.
oh, Bryson said he said that had that happen as well, eh?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that 1022s could have such a well. I mean, it's ammo, but like I didn't know that 22s could have such an energetic. Because I watched it happen to Tony.
Okay.
Has such an energetic like failure, I guess. Like
Yeah.
when it just like it blasted the magazine out and it just sprayed metal everywhere, and it's just like
Yeah.
you know it's a 22, like it's no big deal, and it was just it just
Not good.
yeah no
Not good.
yeah and it underscores the iPro thing.
Yeah. I mean-
Especially with the 1022s when they're flinging out so much carbon as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we've had it not with force, just out of battery. So whenever we run race guns, when we ran race guns, at least 1 or 2 times every match that it would go off out of battery, blow the mag out, you get a puff, and they weren't running force or just one of those goofy things. So that's why I'm pretty vocal about the iPro stuff. It's because think about it, everybody's running 200 rounds in 5 minutes, right? Times 20 people, you're putting 10,000 rounds through. No, yeah, if you have 50 people, it's going to be 10,000 rounds at those 2 stages.
Mm.
So I don't know. Oh no, it's only going to be 100 rounds, not 250. For a rimfire race guns match with 5 stages, you'll put 250 rounds through per competitor, per platform, because you could actually run 4 platforms at a race guns match: pistol irons, pistol optics; rifle irons, rifle optics. So there's actually 4 categories in race guns.
So Matt's kind of dropping you in it there, saying that there might be another one in October at Stittsville.
Yep. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
So are
Since
you
I started,
doing the finale?
since I started it for
Well,
CRPS.
it's a national event, right, for the X22?
Yeah. Right now we're just keeping the stats to see where people end up. So match points, because we just wanted to see what. So this is the generate interest year.
Okay.
And then we'll do regionals, and then we'll do nationals. Wherever national CRPS is, that's where nationals X22 will be. So we'll keep them together. So nationals CRPS next year will be in Ontario.
Nice.
So, and then it's going to go to BC. So this year, Saskatoon. So, and we'll have an X22 match in Saskatoon. It just won't be the national X22 match. Because you think about it, a national X22 match is twice the number of stages. So 4 ORPS, 4 CRPS, all 4 silhouette stages, chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams, and then 4 speed steel, which is pretty good. So you basically shoot back to back. So, yeah. Who's P-Ball 98? Is that? Sorry, I don't know where he's commenting from. So anyway, yeah. So it's gonna be fun. So the next X22 match is at East Elgin at the end of May 23rd, I think. Toward the end of May. It's on the. Oh, hey, Colin. Colin was addicted. Colin would have stayed at race guns all day, I think.
Did you see Matt's video? He's just
Yes.
like on a meltdown. Yeah, it's so funny.
It's always the fifth stage. Meltdowns are part of the fun. That's the best part. When you know you're rushing it, when you have to double tap target 2, it's like
you know that meme. It's like monkey sees neuron activation. It's like monkey hears steel go ping, neuron activation. It's just like there's something very visceral about making it go ping 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 ping. That's just so satisfying.
Yeah, and then you watch them. I don't think anyone cracked 2 seconds, eh?
Gabe, I think it was Gabe that got close. I say it was 2:11.
Okay.
Or something like that. Like it was
close.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We've had sub 2 second on that speed run. Speed run is the one that we normally bring out. That's where the guys will beat 2 seconds on a good day. So, but it was fun.
That's fast.
Yeah, I mean ORPS is standard. CRPS, you all shot that, but the paper and the speed steel and the silhouettes, I think. Yeah. Didn't hit the safety, run out of ammo. Always save the last bullet for the stop plate. Oh, you got DQ'd? Oh man. Yeah.
Matt on his last run, he was on for a sub 2 second, but he missed his second steal. Because I think he'd had 4 good ones, so he was like, whatever, go for it. And then he went ding, miss, ding, 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 and it would have been good if he'd have got it.
Well, I was talking to the Stittsville guys, and they were talking about getting race guns going there on a monthly basis. So that could be interesting.
My reaction is just like, he's like, oh, great. That sounds expensive.
Yeah. Nah. Well, 250 rounds, so you're going to be shooting SK magazine. Right.
Yeah. But the thing is, if it's going to be like race gun at Stittsville, then of course I'm going to need to get a race gun, right?
We have a race gun.
Hey, that Savage 64, maybe that's the race gun we all need, right?
What about just your 1022, man?
Yeah. What about the rifle you have already, Asham?
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Oh, so you want to win race guns against all the other go fast guys?
Well, it just might tickle me in such a way that I'm like I'll do the mental gymnastics. It's like, no, I can totally spend the money to like set up a separate gun.
Well, I'm hoping someone starts up the Silhouette League there.
Yeah, I would be more into that personally. That was so challenging.
And the paper. I mean, the paper's fun too. When you run it as a relay like that. So you think about it, we did it at 50 and 100, right? But there's 75, right? And 150 available to you guys, right? All you have to do is, you don't really have to scale up targets. You can push the 100 down to 75 or push it. I think most guys will be able to hit the 100 at 150, right? Nobody was really out in the no score zones.
Well, if you're doing it as a bench, you could do it as a bench press competition with the
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I think that's the cool part about X22 is you can break those up and hopefully people can find things that they like and they say, hey, you know what? Why don't we just take that part of it and run at our club? So it's kind of like a mini demo deal for clubs. So Kim's asking what size plates were at race guns. It varies. So there's actually a race gun set that you can buy from Gongjo. There's 6, 8, and 12-inch plates, round and squared / diamond because you've got 2 holes on them, so you can hang them. I think rimfireraceguns.ca I think is a website that we set up, but then with COVID, everything kind of got shut down and we lost momentum. But you're able to, from that, kind of like ORPS, you set up 5 stages for race guns. And then race gun is scored using Action Steel practice score setup. Automatically, there's 5 runs, and your best 4 times count for your score for that stage. And there's penalties for completely missing a plate, not hitting not engaging a plate, not hitting a plate. Yeah, not hitting a plate, and then penalty for not hitting the stop plate. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, you guys are lucky out west. You guys have silhouette. You guys have bench shooting. And Matt's already turned the 1022 into dedicated race gun.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Oh, is that the one getting another? So you got 2 kid triggers, Matt? Actually, the Tandem Cross Ultimate's perfect for race guns, man. Yeah, so.
Who makes
check the
at least
What's
one? Who makes Tandem Cross?
Tandem Cross?
Okay, I never had.
They're their own thing.
Oh no, they're the real.
Pretty
They're
much.
the Go Fast race guns guys in the States. So they got a lot of the tricked out parts, Go Fast parts for guns, compensators, thumb rests, grips, all sorts of Go Fast goodies. Yeah, race guns is big in the States. Oh, Kim's got a mover now. Nice. We'll have to see Kim. Yeah. So, any other thoughts on X22? Would you shoot it again?
I am.
I registered for it.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes. The
Yeah.
answer is yes. So
It was the most fun day shooting that I've had in a long time.
but it's the same though. Why do you think that's the case? And because we'd love to make that happen everywhere else, what made it more fun than normal?
It just broke up the normal routine. And not that I'm bored with the normal routine. Like I love doing what we do. I just found it really interesting to be like, here's this completely new style of shooting that you probably haven't done before.
Right.
And like, you just go for it. The silhouette was, I don't want to swear, but it was a bugger. But it made it very enjoyable. And the race guns was also really fun. And then you also had the familiarity of doing what you're used to doing as well, So it was just a really fun day. And then everybody was kind of new to it. Like if you're a new person going to one of these matches, kind of in awe by the experience that's out there, right? Like everybody knows what you're doing. Everybody was in the same boat of what the hell is happening. Like we're all trying to figure it out at the same time. Yeah, it was just a really fun day. People were making each other. It was good.
Good. Yeah, same guys, same camaraderie, except now it's pointed at everyone trying to survive this challenging newness of it all. Hopefully we can keep that going.
There is a leveling aspect to making it so interdisciplinary that like there are guys that have been shooting the CRPS for years now, and are pretty damn good at it, and then make it it's like make like guys that it's like you can kind of see it with the silhouette shooting, that like if you watch biathlon or that type of shooting, like there's a stance you use that makes it doable, right?
Right.
And like when you see people like struggling to find their stance, it's fascinating to see people that are like really, really good at this kind of feeling out of their element. And that's what I like about it, is that it forces you to be like, to try kind of on the spot, and be good at more than one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. Watch this.
Yeah. There is a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how this is going to end up, but it's not going to be pretty for sure.
I was the first person to shoot that silhouette. I was basically the first round down on an X-22.
Yeah.
And until you get those little chickens in your scope, you don't you look at it and go, oh, that's small. But until you get it in your scope and you just see, oh my God, my crosshair is everywhere, and there's this little tiny chicken in the middle, you're trying to like, now, like
That's it. Don't tell them the secret, Tony. Everyone's waiting for it to stabilize.
If somebody can show me a position, what makes me just be like on the chicken, take my shot, on the chicken, take my shot, I will give that person a lot of money. Like,
it's called a tripod.
Yeah.
I wonder how you do if you put on a tripod. We'd have to cut the time down to like a minute to even it out, right? You trade up the setting up time for shooting time. I think it'd be interesting to see what people's scores are like next year after a full year of people know what it is now. Hopefully people start practicing.
That's it. I don't practice for CRPS or RPS now because I kind of just know put the rifle in the bag and it's the same thing you're used to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and practice some standing between the next one. I'm gonna go to Stittsville and put out some 1-inch targets at 25 yards and try and hit them.
Yeah. Well, the chickens and the rams will be waiting for you guys at East Elgin. That's it, man. Or maybe we'll do turkeys and pigs.
What's that? That's the 25 and 75?
No, it's 60 and 77.
It's random distances, eh?
I know. They mapped to something. I don't remember why. But, it's fun, though. Center fire silhouette. Rams at 400 with a 308.
And they're shooting it standing, too?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's different positions, but standing traditionally. But they're bigger, right? These are 1/5 of the size. But they're not huge. They're not huge at 400. So
I'm more thinking about like danger areas, like because some of the guys were letting off shots, and I'm like looking like I don't let it end, But if I was rim fire, it doesn't really matter. But like center fire, like some guy like 3 villages down is getting shot.
Yeah, maybe you have to qualify for past the 100. You can only shoot 200 if you've got over 70%. At the 100, maybe I don't know. So no, it's good. It was fun to watch the joy and mindlessness of that day for people. I think it was nice that people. Maybe we should intersperse the ORPS and CRPS as kind of like comfort zone for people. That we do something really hard and really different, and then we bring back something comfortable for people to feel safe. Their safety zone, Because I think we did all the. No, we put the silhouette in between the ORPS and CRPS.
I wonder if it's going to put more people shooting 1022s at the CRPS matches, though.
Sure.
Over on this, I know out in the west, out in the west, there's a lot of guys shooting 1022s, but here it's very limited.
It's rare. Yeah, there's maybe double or triple the guys out west shooting 1022s. But it's still not common. You always remark, 1022. It's still a rarity, but it's
the X-22 in Aylmer is a double header, right? There's a CRPS the day before.
Correct.
So I think I might try to do both with the 1022.
Nice. I think I haven't decided whether I'm doing it with a B-22 or the Savage 64. Stay tuned. I'm going to have one of those rifles for CRPS.
B-22.
I might just go Savage 64, so I'll have an excuse.
Yeah. How far?
or be surprised.
Elmer's how far? 300?
No, 250.
Yeah, it's not super far. You could run it.
It's not super far.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt signed up for. Matt's got the bug X-22. Oh, it's a rematch. 3 amigos are back.
I'll see you there, buddy.
With a kid trigger, though, right, Matt? Is he going to be there in time? Yeah, should be there, right? What'd you buy from him?
Can we share rifles?
No.
Okay.
Not you two. You can share with Sophie for sure.
Yeah, well, that's definitely happening.
But you and Hashem, no. You and Matt, no.
I just don't want him to have any excuses, If he's,
Okay.
his
Rob
kid-
saying 300 is the max. I don't know if we'll go 300 for X22, maybe, but definitely over 200, 225 maybe a 250, but it just gets harder to score. Plus, it takes an extra half second for the bullet to travel, so it slows the match down. I'm just kidding. Oh, so Matt, now that you're gonna have a kid, you better score better than you did at Stittsville. That's all I'm gonna say. So awesome.
pressure's on now, buddy.
Yeah. Now Matt doesn't crumble. Matt doesn't crumble. Yeah, it's gonna be good, that Rimfire weekend. Awesome. Anything else, guys? Anything else we didn't cover? Should have covered? Thoughts? We talked about things you like, things you didn't like. If anybody went to the X22 and has suggestions, we took some notes already, and we're making changes. Again, we talked about splitting it into 4 contributory disciplines instead of 3, because we lumped all the steel together as one, and the paper, and then the race guns. So we had a third, and a third. But we're breaking out silhouette to be its 4th, so it's 25% contribution for silhouette. So it's got a higher.
Would that have changed anything?
I don't know. It's a bugger for the match director, because I've got to copy and replicate the roster across all the matches, because I just can't copy a registration over, because basically you should be registering for 4 separate matches is the way is what really we're doing behind the scenes. So, and if someone changes squads, I gotta. It's yeah. There must be an easier way, but I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm gonna talk to Thomas. Thomas is like the Excel spreadsheet guy. He can do it. Export, punch a button, and then re-import, and we're good to go. That's what I need. So that's good. That's good. I eventually go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying. I think we touched on it before, like we went live. But having an event where the competitors don't have to do the scoring or like the spotting, or was like having like the professionals, like the staff, was luxury. Like you said, it was like a country club event. Yeah. And I want to thank you guys for not only just putting on the event, but showing up just to ensure that other guys will have a really good event. And no competition for you, although you're in the prize table.
Yep.
But it was it allowed the shooters to just focus on shooting, and you're not panicking about looking through binos and loading your mags at the same time. Like, it was really nice. And thank you for that. Thank you to the guys that volunteered. It was really a pleasure.
Greg Weiss was the other name I forgot. Greg was Mr. Milwaukee Drill Man. He took up and put up and took down all of those boards and everything else. Greg, you saved my butt, buddy. Thank you so much. How could I have forgotten you? I'm so sorry. So Greg, Steve Barks, Rob Gordon, James Ruddick, and I'm sure I forgot somebody else now. But so we're going to try and do that going forward. Certainly for the X22, because we do need a lot of ROs just to handle all the scoring and the race gun stages. So we'll need twice as many volunteers for Aylmer. So we'll start hitting. So Rob, I got your name down for one, and then we'll head up the East Elgin members for volunteers, because I think they get credits there for memberships by volunteering. So that's a great incentive that East Elgin put up. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are interested and want to just watch before you shoot, send me an email, info@rimfireprecision.ca, if you want to volunteer, see what it's all about. You get a free registration to a future match, and you also get to participate in the prize table. So that's always worthwhile. Questions on slings allowed? Yes, slings are allowed in all of the stages. I don't think there's any stages where we wouldn't allow a sling. That would be counterproductive for a maple seed guy like me. That was good. Yeah, we focused a lot on the race gun stage, because I think that's the newest and the most visceral. But I think the paper stage is. Now, is there anything you could have practiced on the paper stage? Is that's just fundamentals in learning?
If you just sit on a bench, you might be humbled when you get into the prone position a little bit.
Yeah.
I had neck ache the next day because my scopes, I've got the super high rings.
Okay.
And I was like lifting my head like crazy. And
Yeah.
then the next day I was like, man, my neck's sore. But no, like,
Well, I think that's a good observation, though. Like, make sure you put several, a few boxes through in the prone position just to see what works and doesn't work. Your prone groups should be close to your bench groups size, right? If it's not, all things being equal, obviously.
they are, but there's definitely just a tiny bit more, especially if you're like, for me on a bench, I basically just free recoil the thing pretty much,
Yeah.
But when you're in the prone, there's more body contact going on, I think, of myself anyway. Like I noticed that I had a little bit more bubble in the prone than I did have on the bench.
Right. What about you, Hashim? Would you do anything differently for prone for the paper stages? I'm trying to give people a heads up. What can they do to potentially perform better?
Man, what would I do differently? Nothing really. Like the thing is with these competitions, when it comes to ammo choice, is that there are 5 or 6 different brands that'll do the trick.
Yeah.
But like using like like having really good ammo, and that gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Because like that was one less thing I had to worry about, right? Like I didn't have to worry about.
Yeah.
It was like that was something where like, a lot of guys have a different experience, but for me, having that really good barrel and using that really good ammo meant that I was confident that the bullets were going to go where I pointed it.
Yeah. I think for the paper stage, guys, if you want to do some research on natural point of aim, because we do make you move around the paper and muscling the barrel and the sights to the next target versus repositioning your body weight to be naturally aligned to the target could account for a lot of variability shot to shot, or you're aiming on the bull, but it's not going on the bull, especially when you get to 100.
If you really want to make it interesting, make it prone and supported. Ooh.
True. Yeah. People had bipods in bags, right?
Yeah.
That's true. That's true, Tony.
You need to up those target sizes if you're doing that.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting because at Maple Seed we do 25 meters, 1 inch target prone unsupported. So go to Project Maple Seed event is the best way, because if you can, I don't know how much of the prone unsupported transfers over to prone supported, but it can't hurt, right? The principles still apply, except how you're engaging with the platform is going to be different. No sling, but I mean, I'd shoot those with a sling unsupported. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll shoot that match prone unsupported just to see what the difference is. I don't know if I'm going to shoot East Algood or not. I haven't decided yet. Probably not, just because of the sheer numbers of people there. But eventually, one event this year, I'll shoot it, and I'll shoot it prone unsupported just as a measurement.
Yeah. Practice squeezing your if you're using like a shooting bag, like practice with that as well, because like when I shoot from a bench, I use one of the Caldwell ones that has like the V in it.
Oh, the V, yeah.
For like bench rest. So like I have zero practice like using like my game changer there, and I felt like I would just what I thought would be like a very gentle like press, and then I would like the rifle would just go bloop.
Yeah.
And because I don't use it in that way, like I've no experience with that, and I spent so much time fighting that bag.
And it's also the change in density that people don't understand that are affecting. Even though the bag is higher up, if you reposition that bag, you're actually compressing the internals more. So you've got a different rebound rate off of that bag. So your point of impact is going to shift. It's those little things. The further out you go, the more dramatic that point of impact shift is going to be, just by changing the density of what's in the bag. So, and Karim is saying, people don't realize how much of a difference natural point of aim makes until you test it, even at 50. Yep, for sure. So people should test it. Google, find on YouTube, see what it's about, and try it out on the range. It's going to be significant it's going to be significant. So cool, gentlemen. Now we're in 30. That was a lot of talking about X22.
It was good.
Yeah. Any other points you want to, words of advice or observations or things you'd like us to change or suggestions? No, so far. Again, we're always open. We're under no impression that we know what we're doing. We're just trying to put something together that's fun and different and evolve as we go. When things aren't right, we'll fix it, and when things are right, we'll step on it more, put more on. So thanks for being guinea pigs, guys.
If you could convince guys to come and be match directors at CRPS matches too, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
it made a huge difference to your day, how you're not having to concentrate on, I've got to get my dope done, I've got to get this done, how's my kit going, oh, I've got a spot for this guy, and now I'm this, now I'm timing, now I'm you was just able to concentrate on what you've got to do. So I think that really helped the day go faster, because there's a lot of moving parts in that day, a lot more than you would say in a CRPS, but we were done by what, 2:30?
Yeah, it was done early. Yeah.
And
we'll see what a bigger match ends at. I think we're going to be a little slower next time, but yeah, it moved pretty good.
And in the way that we learn by observing, and that it's a lot harder to mentor newer people when you're focused on, you know, this or that or this or that. So like the thing is that if we have nothing to do other than kind of like watch what's happening, if I'm new, I'm seeing how people are shooting, like I could pick up a lot more. And guys who are experienced have a chance to be like, okay, well, see what he's doing, you know. Like it's so much, like there's so much more to gain from having staff.
Valid point. Valid point. I mean, we're gonna do our best, and we'll try and get more volunteers out for regular CRPS. Also, obviously, that's what we'll try to do. But historically, it's been hard to get people to come out for some reason. I don't know why.
Everyone wants to shoot. That's why.
Yeah, everybody wants to shoot. This one is it's not for me. I don't like semi-autos. I'll volunteer. Perfect. You're my kind of guy. Oh, Bruno's got a question. The question, the density of the front bag. No, we're talking about the rear bag. Typically, the density of the front bag doesn't change much because you're not squeezing it to raise and lower the sights. It's more on the back when you reposition. Now it's a little lower, so you get squeezed a little tighter, or you reposition after shot and it's a little lower, so you don't have to squeeze as much. So that has an impact. Also, the tension in the shoulder. Those are all little things that affect kind of where ultimately the bullet's going to go based on the rebound and the how it feels, the recoil impulse. So that's what we meant by that. So, well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Awesome talking. Awesome spending the weekend with you guys. Or the Sunday. Looking forward to East Elgin. That's going to be a busy weekend. I'm hoping the weather's nice. It's going to be nice. That's it. All nice weather from here until October. So, no doubt.
Hopefully, it's not quite as hot at Avonmore this year.
Who knows, man? Maybe it will be. Maybe it'll always be a bake there. Actually, Avonmore is the next match at the end of April 30th. I think we've got 45 shooters registered already. So it's going to be a big match. We're capping it at 60. 45 is a good size, but 60 is our max number, and we're going to get some vendor booths there, and some demo stages. We're working on getting some special guests out there to spend the day with us, so we can play with other people's gear and ammo. So awesome, Hashim. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Congrats, guys, on your wins and your continued contribution toward making this a fun sport. It's fun spending the day with you guys. All right, everybody. On behalf of Tesro.ca, thank you very much for tuning in to the Rimfire Nation podcast, and we'll see you guys on the firing line. Take it easy. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.